Hello, welcome again. Hi, Tavern Talk, episode 5, skills versus gear. This one was a big one. It is a big one. It still is a very big one. Um, I said previously, I wanna bring this up, and I wanna discuss about skills. I wanna discuss about the gear, and what do you need to know as a new streamer. Here's the thing: I need you to understand this business of streaming has been going on for a long time. Yeah. And there is a very big beginning trap where any new streamer looks at somebody that's been established, they've been watching him, they've been looking at different streamers all over, and they compare and they say, hey, I need all that stuff so I can start. The reality is you don't. The reality is you need the basics to start with and let it grow. The most important part is when you start streaming, you need to start using what you have. And in some cases, you're gonna have a microphone, you're gonna have a camera, or not. You're gonna have lightning. Most people don't have lightning around the computer. I mean, I didn't, because I never used it. I never needed it. People start using new software like OBS, Meld, Stream Elements, and so on. But you need to start using what you have. And that's the most important part. Start with what you have. Don't start going on buying very expensive microphones and very expensive cameras because one of the streamers you're watching has two cameras. He presses a button and the camera changes and all that stuff. All those things are there for their needs, not necessarily your needs. And this is where the skill comes in. Now, in regards to the gear you have, you can have the most expensive microphone, but if you don't know how to set it up, it's not gonna work properly for you. I personally didn't know. I have never configured a microphone for a stream before. So I've done my due diligence. I have looked around and I have found the video nerd. I will put a link in description here. He has an amazing tutorial on how to set up your microphone. And I have watched a lot of streamers personally. And since I started this journey, I'm finding new streamers that haven't set up their microphone. Either it sounds very, very low, or it sounds very loud, or the explosion of sounds is all over the place. The distance of the microphone is also very important. So please have a look at that tutorial. And this is critical. You don't have to learn everything by yourself. Other people have been there in front of you. They have learned how to do it. They have made great tutorials. Not every tutorial is great, but that's one of the tutorials I have used. Another thing is OBS. It's a brand new software. If you're starting to use this and you don't know how, I will put a link there. Another content creator is Senpai. I'm using it quite often when I have problems in setting something up. I used it a lot, especially in the beginning, in setting up your OBS for the first time. It's crucial. You have a look at these tutorials. You don't just jump in blindly and you don't know why things don't work. Excuse me. It's understanding what's important for you. That's the biggest thing. Sometimes the quality of audio is going to be the quality of visuals. So understanding what fixes your problems is crucial in this. And that's why I want to discuss about skills versus gear. Sometimes the skills of setting something correctly are more important than the gear itself. Than having expensive cameras, expensive this, expensive that. If you don't have this monitor or you don't have this resolution, or you'll be surprised how many streamers have actually become successful and become content creators officially, partnership and and they are content creators just by having the correct stuff, not the expensive stuff. And I want to reassure you that you can do it. Don't go on buying that you saw somebody having something and you need to do it. Another thing is, when do you purchase upgrades? Because this one was a big thing for me. You need to start adjusting a new system now to do a lot more work. And you're going to see that you need upgrades. So when do you start purchasing them? Well, first of all, you need to get your foot. I would recommend that in the first 3 to 5, 6 months, don't buy anything. Keep it going. As we talked previously, this is the stage of you understanding your stream, your business, your new path, your new adventure. You are trying to understand how many times a week can you stream, how many hours can you stream, how can you adjust the stream, everything around that. And therefore, you're also looking at your gear. How is it handling? Is it overheating because you're running now a software that's running this massive encoding part and the game itself? You're also developing the skills of paying attention to multiple things, and one of them is going to be paying attention to your computer to see how it behaves. So how do you understand when you need to upgrade? Not in the first 4 to 6 months. See how it goes. See where the problems are. Sometimes a simple cleanup will work, but in most cases, you'll understand what you need to upgrade. See how your video is working. You don't have to start streaming in the highest quality possible when there's nobody there. And you're going to come and say, hey, but if somebody new comes in and I have a bad quality, they're not going to stick around. You're going to be surprised. If your quality is good, if your video is good, the camera itself, if you're using one, if your voice is nice and clear, and you keep talking and you interact with them, you would be surprised how many people stick around. And you're going to be very surprised how many people do not stick around if you have an amazing video, but everything else is not optimal. Another big thing is, people tell you, and I've seen hundreds of tutorials, that you need to learn editing, that you need to learn thumbnails making, video editing, video cutting, everything. The basic effects, that you need to invest in certain programs and you need to invest in other programs. And one of the things I want to reassure you is, you do not need all those skills. Don't let those skills put you down. A lot of people don't even start streaming because they watch this stuff and everyone tells them, you need to know this, you need to know that, you need to know this, you need to know that, you need to know. You have 1,000 things you need to know. Here's the thing. Your journey as a streamer is going to teach you the basics. Thumbnails, for example. Not everyone is doing them. I like trying to do them myself. On YouTube, if you look at the thumbnails from the beginning, you can see they weren't very good. Okay, they weren't very good. I'm not saying they're brilliant now. I'm just saying I found different ways to do it because they work for me. And the way I'm doing them, they really work for me, not necessarily for somebody else. Editing. I do not edit my videos. I save them. I have a database. I save them on YouTube. I have them everywhere. The idea is very simple. At this time, at this precise moment, I do not have the time, literally, to start spending hours on editing my videos. So how do you do your shorts? In some of the cases, I use Nexus Clips. It's a website that allows you, yes, it's using AI, but it's not using AI in the format you are used to. It just identifies certain parts of the clips. If you make a note on a piece of paper, old style, when you want to cut something, or you know the moment in your stream when you wanted to do a short, you can just simply go there with Nexus Clips and do it by yourself. This is where the skills come in handy. You're gonna see a lot of big streamers, a lot of funny streamers, streamers that are not necessarily big, but they are very well known because they have some very viral, very funny uh, clip, and it's gonna put you down, going like, I don't wanna learn a new skill. I just wanted to stream. I wanna do this. I'm afraid of learning something else. It's hours upon hours. Try it. Try streaming. Those skills themselves, some of them are gonna develop. Some of them you'll never develop them. But I need to remind you that a lot of the big streamers have editors. And yes, you can think of an editor when you start making a nice income from streaming. But in the beginning, they've done partially themselves, and their first videos weren't necessarily great. And it's a journey for each and every one of us. And it's critical for you to understand you don't need to have what that streamer you like has. I've personally watched streamers that have like 5, 6 monitors, and you can see them based on their eye movements. When they're paying attention and they look up and they read this monitor, and then they read this monitor, and then they read the chat here, and then they play the game here. And some point they look here, and you can see them. Some of them even shared their builds. And in the beginning, I was very, how many monitors do I need? I don't have where to put all those monitors. But that didn't stop me. I still cracked on with everything I had, and I've done my best with the tools and the space I had. I can't start investing in 5 monitors when I don't have the barely have the space to have 2 monitors. So it is that thing. Now you're gonna see people with different backgrounds. You're gonna see people without backgrounds. You're gonna see people that have their rooms shared, and in the background you see all these amazing collections of stuff regarding gaming and the culture and the lore and everything else part of the environment. And you're gonna go, I don't have that. It's okay. I never share the background. I always use just me, because that's how I've seen my stream, just me, the game, and the community. And I've used different softwares in the beginning because I wasn't very aware of everything out there. And I've removed the background. I remember in the first few streams, I used the paid program, and that had a free version. The free version came with a watermark, so I used that for a while. My computer back then wouldn't support NVIDIA background removal program. Then I learned you can have that as a plugin in OBS. So I started using that more and more. And today I'm still using NVIDIA background removal, but that's my personal choice. If you want to share your background, share it. If you don't want to share it, don't share it. Please try to understand that the need of every streamer is reflected in their stream. Don't try to copy. And this is another big point in skill versus gear. When you do your shopping list, it doesn't necessarily need to be buying something, but it's a shopping, it's a preparation list. What do I need? I want to start this, I want to do this. Where do I go from here? So you do a list of everything you need. First, look at what you have. Try to understand how you can use everything you have. You're going to see, as I said earlier, you're going to see people that have different stuff, different type of microphone, different type of cameras. Those are gear items that have fixed some of their problems, but they're not going to fix your problem. And here comes another big one, the skill of talking. I have personally rated a lot of streamers, not thousands, because I haven't streamed for thousands days. But I always try to stream at the end of my raid, at the end of my stream. And I try to make new friends. I try to engage new communities, and so we can all get together, have a good time. And share some of my community with other people. You know, That's the business. That's how sometimes it helps other streamers, other new streamers. And when I was starting, somebody helped me. So it's called sharing the love, and we all do it. Most of the streamers do it. I rated people that had no reaction to a raid. That stops us from coming again. That stops us from interacting. When we're talking to you and you're not paying attention, you're not reacting to your new viewers, you just got 20, 50, 60, 80 people in, and they're trying to talk with you, and you have absolutely no reaction. Well, that's a skill you need to improve. And this is where I wanted to get with this. That skill of engaging a new viewer, a new community, is more important than your camera being in 4K, not 720. It's huge, um, and it's critical. The That skill itself is more important than a lot of your upgrades that are gonna come, because you see those upgrades are gonna start being needed as you evolve as a streamer, as you progress this business you want to take, or a hobby you want to take. But if you have thousands of pounds or dollars in gear, in items that are making you look shiny and everything, and you don't know how to interact, you have them for nothing. And that's a big thing. The takeaway from this should be very simple. Learn first. Learn how your microphone should work. Learn how your camera or PNG or V, whatever you want to use, how that should work. You learn how your OBS, your software, your OBS, your Meld, your Stream Elements, how they should work. Learn how to talk. That's a very crucial skill. Learn how to interact with the community, how to interact with a new viewer. And then upgrade. Upgrade second. When you are comfortable with all those things you had to learn. Don't be put back uh, by lacking skills or having to do something you've never done before, like editing a video or creating something. If you're going to be a streamer, that doesn't necessarily involve your editing. It's not a 100% requirement. If you want to be a YouTuber, then it's different. Yeah, that requires 100% editing if you want to just YouTubing. But if you are going to go as a streamer in real life streaming, in gaming, in singing, learning the basics are going to be more important than buying very expensive stuff. And as I said, another very big thing, don't copy other people. Find your own problems and fix your own problems, not by not asking for help, but identifying what works and what doesn't work for you. And it's the same way in your schedule. I have interacted with streamers that have changed their schedule to match mine. I have met streamers that have changed the way their camera looks or the way they talked to match other streamers because they thought that that was the success. That wasn't the success. The success is you being you, you being honest to yourself. That is the massive success in this. That is where your skill shows, by being in front of that camera, by interacting with your community and having the skills to have a conversation, to have a joke, to add some entertainment. Not always necessarily, you don't have to be Robin Williams juggling on a stage. No. But being friendly, being approachable, being the type of streamer you want to be. You want to be the grumpy one, be the grumpy one, but be honest. If that's who you are, that's who you should be. You want to talk bad about people, you want to talk nice about people, be honest. Don't copy others because, oh my God, he's successful. I'm going to do exactly what he does and it's going to work for me. No, no, no. They got successful first through hard work and daily streams or very long streams or years of work and sacrifice. And then they reach the point where they talk whatever they want, they do whatever they want, they play whatever they want. Another thing is, I saw people trying to invest in brand new games because they need to play the brand newest game out there to become successful. No, you don't. You can play literally whatever you want if you're referring to streaming as gaming, because it's not necessarily the game, it's you, the game, the community. You need to remember it's not just one item that makes this thing work, it's the skill of keeping everything interacting together. Engaging the community in whatever game you're playing or whatever event you're doing, engaging yourself with the community, and putting everything else as a whole in the entire stream part. I need you all to understand. Don't be afraid. There are enough tutorials. As I said, I will put the two I mentioned. I'll also mention the Nexus site. I'm personally using all of them. I personally use those tutorials. And if you have more questions, just ask them. I will answer each and every one of them to the best of my abilities, of course. But use the good stuff. Don't try to make a big shopping list because it's not always working. I have seen one of the things on Reddit. I'm using the site myself for years, and um, one of the big things, one of the big questions I saw, and I saw it even recently, was getting raided is exciting until everyone leaves. And the person in question is talking about this as a small streamer. Basically, he gets a raid, massive raid, and then he sees everyone drop off bit by bit. First he has 50, then 40, then 30, then 20, and then he's back to his original 5 people. As you remember, I talked in the past about my first raid. And from that first raid, I don't think I kept 20 people, which most likely they were asleep, as the person that was raiding was from America. I'm in UK, time difference. It was midnight for them. They left the computer open. That's how I've seen it. I need you to think of this as normal. Okay? As I said earlier, if you're honest yourself, if you have the skill of being you and having the stream representing it you, now people will come for that. If I'm watching somebody else, I come with a raid, you're not on my taste, and it is okay. But if you have that skills, if you have those skills, if you manage to convert me to also come to you when you're live, that's different. But don't expect you get 1,000 people raid, which very rarely happens. There are a lot of reasons. Maybe we're going to talk about that in the future. But let's say you get 1,000 raids, you have 5 people in. Out of that 1,000, you're going to be left with about 50 in under 20 minutes. Let's say 100. And after that, slowly those are going to drop. You see, all those people, they came in, they stay for a few minutes. That doesn't mean you're doing something bad. That just means your opinion, your stream, it doesn't represent them. The hype you have, either you're too hype or you're not hype enough, either you're too friendly or you're not friendly enough. Just don't take it personal. They were there with the other streamer. The other streamer shares some love. And out of those thousands people that come in, let's say you get 10, 20 follows. That's a big win. If you get one, that's a big win. If somebody comes the next day when you're live, just one person, you made an impression on somebody else. So don't take it personal that those 20, 30, 50,000 people have dropped off after they saw you. It's always also affecting you because you go up in analytics and then you go down. People understand that that was a massive raid. It happens. Usually, as a small streamer, you're going to get your up to 500, 300, 180, something like that. But most common 20, 30, 50, around those numbers. But the idea is very simple. And that person that asked on Reddit about getting raided and nice and happy until everyone leaves. Don't. If you get one person to come back, not the next day, 3 days from now, you made an impression. You had something. You can start today. You're not gonna have 1,000 followers in a second. You're not gonna have 500 followers in a second. I know people that are streaming for months and months and months, and they are barely breaking. Some of them 100, some of them barely breaking 800, and it's a big difference between 100 and 800. But they are different people. They attract a different community. Some of them are going to be built faster based on the games, the entertainment, the hype, the everything else. Some of them are going to be built slowly. But here's the thing, there is a chance that the one that builds slowly in the long term is more successful. That skill is important. Learning how to talk, when to talk, how to be entertaining. Learning how to use the stuff you already have. If you're streaming from a console, there are different ways to stream. Please do not start investing in gear just because somebody else has it. Work with what you have. As I talked earlier in a different episode, it's very important how you approach the stream yourself. Yeah. And again, if there is for us to take something out of this, is I am not an expert. I am 100% not an expert in any of this. I'm telling you what I've learned, what I found, and what actually has worked for me. And what worked for me is not listening to, you need that very expensive microphone, you need that super amazing camera, and you need a class that takes you to editing, you learn to do that, and you need to spend 16 hours on top of the streaming hours, and this worked for me. I learned from others that have done it better than me. I have applied their knowledge. I always spend the time during the stream to focus on developing every single skill of paying attention to the camera, paying attention to the game, paying attention to the software, talking and interacting. It's something that never stops being used. It's something that I always want to keep improving. So yes, at the end of the day, your skills are going to be more important than your gear. You need to be comfortable in front of the stream, camera or no camera on. You need to be comfortable playing what you're playing. And most important, you need to have fun. Because the second it's not being fun, it's not worth it anymore. This was the Tavern Talk for today. Skills versus gear. What do you think is more important? Having a $4,000 camera and no skill in talking, or the other way around? And with that, please remember, keep the magic alive. Tomorrow is going to be better. Have a lovely day.